worn face of a plain business card stares at me through my windshield with forlorn charm. Mine is the only car in a full parking lot with a little rectangle of white stuck beneath the wiper blade. I'm not in the habit of dialing stray nameless numbers. This reeks of stale gotcha sales setup. But in hand, the paper stock feels respectably heavy, and I figure the embossed lettering cancels out the cheapest gimmick pitches. In a fit of curiosity, I thumb the number in my cell. It's a local call. A woman answers. Thank you for calling Dial-A-Book. What may I read to you? The rare and overrated-like response. People bemoan the loss of certain personal connections as the technological exoskeletons we've built thicken, but sometimes I just want to push simple buttons to get easy answers, and that's okay. That my modern-day brain anticipates the staccato blurt of digital options before it expects to hear the living breathing of another human being is a mark of evolution, not some unfortunate statistic of saturated society. In this momentary pause for thought, as my internal switches flip from autopilot to manual, I reformulate my question into an explanation. This is just a test, a call to see who's on the end of the line and why. Of course, she makes it sound easy. You pick a book, then I read it to you. Well, that's weird, so I say so. Her sigh serves as a shrug. I get that a lot. So which book? I quickly lie like I can't be caught dead entertaining silly ideas, which is itself a silly idea, but before the inertia of circular logic sucks me in, I just excuse myself due to time constraints. Her laugh dismisses the weak protest. Everybody has time. Everybody picks a book. When I scoff at her ability to produce any randomly selected text, she throws the gauntlet and toes a line in the dirt for dare. Try me. Primal playground instincts demand I bite this bait. We strike a bet only I know about. If she has my first choice, I'll listen. If she doesn't, I'll go. The kind of people who offer to read aloud to random strangers' calls are the kind of people who assume a certain level of taste. Disjointed dream trance prose, sloppily outfitted experimental verse, or maybe obscure classical tones to prove literary street cred. In an effort to outwit the game, I pick against type. I say the Phantom Tollbooth and assume her challenge formidably met. Quiet laughter crackles through the line. I love that one. Just a sec, kids' books are in the other room. I decide she must be one of those people driven to collect and categorize useless objects like books or cats. She lives that reclusive hoarder's dream and believes this strange trigger is an appropriate, comfortable alternative to normal socializing. Listening to the muffled noises in her background, I imagine stacks of never-read books and the loose papers sandwiched between them, tumbling over, the cats dodging in and out, trashing the tunnels. I worry. This could be her last call. This could be her final search in the house that books built. I consider hanging up. I wait. The Phantom Tollbooth, she intones formally. Written by Norton Juster, published in 1961. Then, with the familiar words of the story about a boy in a little red car, his mysterious toll booth, and the sister princesses he would say stroll from her lips with the ease of a frequent reader. I pop the phone on speaker and toss it into the passenger side seat. With the windows up and the radio down, the strength of her voice easily overpowers the muted din of traffic and the hum of air conditioning on full blast. I drive towards home. The last time I listened to a story read aloud, I'd been a child. It had been my mother. It had been this book. There are no secret tragedies or sad stories which bind me to the book that might drive me to choose it above all others for this purpose. She sounds nothing like my mother, lacking the rasp of a smoker's voice and the entire inflection of a busy matriarch nearing the end of her daily duties. It was simply the last night I had needed my mother to read for me, an unremarkable memory about which I recall nothing outside the stated facts. I remember the night directly after with absolute clarity. I remember the exact way my mother sat, with hands folded neatly in her lap, a small smile on her face, and rapt attention for my every stumbling word as our roles reversed. I glance at the phone as if she can see my distraction through the line. She has yet to break stride, and now the pace of her voice relaxes into the natural rhythm of the narrative. I turn right to take the slow scenic route. My reluctance to accept this offer and my constant inattention to details suggests I am not myself a strong reader, but I do in fact read. I read plenty. Not out loud, not children's books. I read journal articles, reference books, historical biographies, travel memoirs. I read fiction so long as it doesn't stray too far from traditional forms. As expensive as time is, I can't afford to waste it by paying attention to stories I don't need. Now the boy gets the ticking watchdog and learns to drive at the speed of thought. I near my neighborhood and continue past it. The dog tells the boy he loves automobile records. I turn again after a few blocks, down a street The what rarely matters more than the how, and the why matters even more. The average rate of speech clocks in at 3 words per second, yet the average listener only hears every third word. I picked up less than a third, but the sound of her voice fills the air. I hear nothing else. That's enough. A car honks. Story halts. She clears her throat politely. Still with me? I am, after I belatedly blinker my way right. I managed to pick up the phone mid-apology and admit I lost track. Compliments to the call. Thanks a lot. Well, you listened. That's what you were supposed to do, so thank you. She sounds like a real person. Not just a live person, but true. Back on the main road, I head home. Now as I blame time for cutting the call short, I'd rather be lying. I spent what spare time I had through, though indulgence has a way of rationalizing want into need, into entitlement. I want to do nothing but listen to nothing but a story. I need to listen, and I deserve to listen. I'm spent. In the afterglow of surprise reprieve, my goodbye stretches out